Feast in memory of their mother. Her name was Kanchan Mukherjee, and she passed away 30 days ago, and so they just did the Shraddha ceremony, and they wanted to make sure that part of any samskaras, any rituals we do, that you must feed all the Vaishnavas. So they wanted to make sure they fed all the devotees prasadam and the blessings. They're seeking the blessings and the prayers from all the Vaishnavas for the departed mother. So can we do that? For prasadam, we can pray? So if we can all please raise both our hands and pray to their lordships, Shri Shri Gauranitai, Shri Jagannath Baladev Subhadra Devi, and Shri Shri Radha Madhu Mohan. Together? Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Thank you so much. Hare Krishna. He is a very senior disciple of Srila Prabhupada. And when he met Srila Prabhupada, Prabhupada was so touched by his humility and his purity that he expedited his spiritual practice by giving him first initiation, second initiation, and very soon he got his sannyas. It was very unique that Srila Prabhupada did that at that time in the movement. Because Srila Prabhupada, and then Srila Prabhupada made him his servant and translator. And Bhakti Maharaj spent many years translating Srila Prabhupada's books into Bengali languages. And then last year he was the chairman of the GBC. And he's a member of the ISKCON governing body, so the chairman of that. And then being an ISKCON guru, he travels all around the world, inspiring hundreds and thousands of devotees in their Krishna consciousness. And this is what he does full time. I can attest to that because he is here and I see him just spending time with the devotees, visiting devotees' homes. So the uniqueness of him and being here at this time is that there is a very unique grassroots level of consciousness revolution that is happening within this movement. That Srila Prabhupada left this service to his dear disciples. So Maharaj will be speaking about some of the aspects of that Srila Prabhupada's vision and mission that was left behind for his disciples to finish. And then along with him we have Kalakanta Prabhu is here. He is not here. He is the minister for cow protection. And something else, right? Grihastha development.
The minister for cow protection and agriculture.
Minister for cow protection and agriculture. So he is also here. He is probably on a conference call. He will be coming in very soon. And then also we have with us His Grace Vaikuntha Prabhu. Is this saintly devotee sitting there. He's a very senior devotee in the movement, president of the San Diego Temple, inspiring many, many young American devotees to take up Krishna consciousness and guiding them through their day-to-day practices. And I can attest to his spiritual guidance because one of his students also is a very close friend of mine who is also practicing Krishna consciousness from Southern California. Just one, he's got many like that. So thank you, Vaikuntha Prabhu, Kalakanta Prabhu, and thank you so much, Maharaj. So let's welcome Maharaj. If you could raise both your hands, we're going to welcome Maharaj to New Paniyati. Together, Hari Bo! Hari Bo! Hari Bo! If you could all please move up. And anyone here who doesn't have a cell phone. So if you don't have a cell phone, this is not for you. For those who do have a cell phone, if you could please take your cell phone out and put it on vibrate. or silent mode. And if it rains, there is a punishment that you have to eat lots of prasadam, more than you normally eat. So that may be a challenge. So that's why we request you to please put your phones on silent. Thank you so much. Hare Krishna.
How many of you were here yesterday evening? Oh, most of them were not here. Actually, yesterday we made a presentation. As you mentioned, it was out here. See, in ISKCON we have a ministry called the Ministry for Cow Protection and Agriculture. And the objective of the ministry is to develop cow culture. I just briefly mentioned what I discussed yesterday. I don't want to repeat too much. How many of you realize that protecting cows, taking care of cows, depending upon cows is important? Okay, now if I ask you why it's important, how many of you would like to say? Okay. Yeah.
Oh, well, because the cow produces the necessary ingredients to do the proper rituals.
Okay. And what would you like to say?
Dear to God.
Because?
It's an animal dear to Krishna.
Very good. Because cows are very dear to Krishna. Anyone else? Yes?
Cow is mother.
Cow is mother. Very good. And very good points. Now, cows provide the necessities of life. What's your name? Jeffrey. Okay. And your daughter is Tulsi. How come she has a spiritual name? So, so there's no need to bring him. Okay. All right. It's okay. Now cows, as Jeffrey said, cows provide the necessities, like milk. But there are many other animals also give milk, right? Buffaloes give milk, goats give milk, even camels give milk, even tigers give milk. But we don't worship them. Do you worship buffaloes? Or do you worship cows? That Mataji there mentioned cows are mother. That's a very good point. But still, how many of you worship your mother? Actually, she came close to that one. Cows are dear to God. That's why we worship the cows. So, the real need, the real purpose of worshipping cows or recognizing the importance of cows is because of the spiritual context. And the point is, like, if we really want to understand why cows are important, then we have to make the approach from the spiritual perspective. Now, how many of you know the geography of the spiritual world? Raise your hands, those who know. Bharabhadra Prabhu is the only one, come on. Okay. Okay, Amit, you tell me. What's the geography of the spiritual side?
You explained yesterday. There are 14 planets in this universe. In 6 up, 7 down, we have a few planets.
That's material nature.
And then, you are just so like.
The spiritual.
So we said that in Brahma Jyoti we have all the Vaikuntha, and then we have Ayodhya, then Dwarka, and then Mathura. Within Mathura region we have Golok.
Okay. So what's the topmost region of the spiritual world? How many of you got it now? How many of you heard him? You couldn't hear. I should have given a microphone. Okay, what he said is, this is the material nature. Where are we now? I mean, this is a material nature. Now, beyond this material nature, in this material nature, there are many, many universes, in the causal ocean. There's an ocean of cause. Just as there's an ocean of salt water, there's an ocean of cause. Cause is a substance. As we say, be cause, right? Be cause. Behind every action, there's a cause. Behind every effect, there's a cause, right? Can anything happen without cause? No. So cause, and that cause is a substance. And in that, and there's an ocean of cause. And in that causal ocean, there are many, many universes. Like ours. Ours is only one universe. There are innumerable universes. So, when you go out of this universe, what do you find? Causal ocean. Then you go beyond causal ocean. Then we'll come to the spiritual world. And this world, the material world, is the world of darkness. And the spiritual world is the world of light. Unlike this material nature, the spiritual world is full of light. And the light there is caused by Brahma Jyoti. A light called Brahma Jyoti. So just as this world is a world of darkness, that's the world of light. Just as in this world there are universes or planets, in that world there are planets. Those planets are spiritual planets. Those planets are known as Vaikuntha. Now in the upper region of Vaikuntha there is Ayodhya, the abode of Lord Ramchandra. Higher than that is Dwarka, where Krishna is present. And even beyond Dwarka is Mathura Mandal, the region of Mathura. And topmost region of the Mathura Mandal is Vrindavan. So you got it? So that is the spiritual world. Now do you know what is the name of the spiritual world? I heard something. Yeah, Vrindavan is known as Golok. Golok. Go means what? And Lok means planet or world. Yeah, so that topmost region of the spiritual world is the world of cows. Right? And what is the occupation of the residents of that world? They are known as Gopas. Gopas means those who tend cows, take care of cows. The male are called Gopas and female are known as Gopis. See, their occupation is to take care. Everybody's occupation there is to take care of the cows. And there, the Supreme Personality of Godhead is, what's the name of the Supreme Personality of Godhead? Gopal. The Supreme Personality of Godhead is the maintainer of the cows. So do you see the importance of cows here? In the topmost region of the spiritual world, the main occupation even of the Supreme Personality of Godhead is to take care of cows. There he is not the Supreme Creator and Supreme Maintainer, etc. He is playing with cows, taking care of cows. So do you see the importance of cows now? How many of you agree with me, or am I telling a fairy tale? Am I stating facts or? Yes, Balabhadra Prabhu said absolutely, so he must be correct. So that is the occupation, that is how important the cows are. Now in our context, we can see how important cows are. In this material nature, different living entities have different types of bodies, right? Now, what kind of bodies the human beings have? We have. Our bodies are identical to the body of the Supreme Personality of Godhead in that region, Vrindavan. In Vaikuntha, the Lord is four-armed. In Vrindavan, the Lord is two-armed. His form is like that of a human being. Now in Bible, there is a very relevant statement. How many of you are familiar with the expression, man has been created according to the image of God?
Yes.
Right? Man has been created according to the image of God. Our form, man's form, is identical to God's form. That means that form that the Lord has in Golok Vrindavan, He has given that form to the human. Now, so we can say this earth planet has been given to us, the human beings. We have got the form which is identical to the form of the Supreme Personality. And along with that, human beings, He has given the cows. Just as in the spiritual world, the Lord has a very close relationship with the cows. The residents of the spiritual world have a very close relationship with the cows. Here also, we have a very close relationship with the cows. We may not see it directly. Just to give you an example how that relationship is valid or relevant. Do you notice our dependence or our close connection to trees and plants? Our sustenance? Do you see the trees and us? What kind of relationship we have? Where does our food come from? Huh? Where does our food come from? From supermarket? Just think about it. Where does our food come from? Exactly, trees and plants. Those who are meat eaters, they say, well, we don't depend upon trees and plants. But what they are eating, they are actually dependent upon the trees and plants. So this is how we are dependent upon trees and plants. Not only the food. What is the most important aspect of our survival? Oxygen. Oxygen. We take oxygen and then what happens? What do we give out? If this process continued, what would have happened? The whole atmosphere would have been filled with carbon dioxide. Did it happen? No. Trees and plants are taking the carbon dioxide and giving oxygen back to us. Now you see the link between us and the trees? This link is quite visible, quite comprehensive, right? Now, in an even more subtle way, we are related to cows, which we cannot directly make the link, but when we practice that culture, then it becomes very, very obvious, very apparent. Just today, I was in Adi Gadadhar Prabhu's house for lunch. I'm sorry that you have missed that fantastic Italian lunch. We were discussing about that Adi Gadadhar Prabhu is coming from a landlord's family in India. And they have a large piece of, his family has a large piece of land there. And he was telling us that his father, although he's a doctor, but he gave up his occupation and he is simply involved in cow protection. And he was telling that in that region, the whole area is arid, dry. There's no water. They bore, go up to 300 feet down, still they don't get water. But their land is full of water. Now, isn't it surprising? In that area, all entire land is dry. There is no water, but their land is full of water. They don't even have to go deep by boring. They just have regular oils and regular ponds, lakes. It's full of water. Did you ever think of the reason behind that? Because they are cultivating cows. This is how it is generated. Now, do you recognize that the Supreme Personality of Godhead is controlling everything? Right? Or are things happening just by chance and accident? No, things are happening by the divine arrangement of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Otherwise, how can there be the trees and plants taking carbon dioxide and giving back oxygen? Is that an accidental phenomena or somebody's divine arrangement? It's a divine arrangement. Everything is a divine arrangement of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Just like there is darkness. This is the world of darkness. Sun appeared. Who made the sun to appear? Had the sun not been there, can you imagine what would have happened? There wouldn't have been any light. There wouldn't have been any life. Our life is also so much dependent upon the sun. Anyway, so this is how the Supreme Personality of Godhead makes actually the arrangements. He made the arrangement. You take care of the cows and I will take care of you. In simple words. Now it's up to us whether we are going to believe and whether we are going to act upon that understanding and conviction. It's up to us. And one thing I can tell you, those who believe in that, those who act on that understanding, they themselves see what actually happens. Just as I was telling Adi Gadadhar Prabhu's family in family property in India, like, because they're taking care of cows, everything is there. India's prosperity actually was based on cows. During it has been described in Mahabharata that during Yudhishthira Maharaj's time, there were so many cows and the cows were giving so much milk that when the cows used to graze in the field, milk used to drip from their udder, and the field used to become wet with milk. But today, look at today's world, what's happening? Instead of protecting cows, they're killing cows. And the result is, you can see so much violence, so much disturbance, so much suffering. So now, should we allow this world to continue the way it is going? Should we wait for some leader to come and solve the problems of the world? Every 4 years in the United States of America, a new president is elected, right? And he has only 2 terms. That means he can stay only for 8 years. Those who survive, they could go on for 8 years. And the new election, and everyone thinks that, well, this new president is come and going to change everything for better. But does it happen? Is the situation improving or worsening in this world? Any intelligent person will see that the situation of this world is worsening. And we do not really know what may happen. There are genuine concern about apocalypse, massive universal disaster, or entire planet will go through a massive disaster. It's only a matter of time. Now, do we want that to happen? No. Now, how to counter that? How to counter that? Is any political or social or economic leader is going to change the situation of the world? At least I don't think so. The only solution that can happen is by establishing spiritual culture. That awareness is happening. The awareness is happening because we are seeing like the vegan culture is developing. People are realizing vegetarianism is increasing. Like people are realizing the ills of animal killing, the ills of violence towards animal and eating their flesh. Then another development that is happening, we notice that, I don't know about America, I spent some time in England. In England 3 years back, last count, I think it was in 2014. 2014's count was 49% people in England don't have religion. And actually, in one of my lectures last year, I mentioned that 49% people don't have religion. Then I was corrected, no, 56%. Just in 2 years, the number increased by 7%. They don't have religion means what? They don't have faith in religion. What is going on in the name of religion, they just don't want to identify themselves with that. But on the other hand, what is actually increasing, that they are giving up religion, but their spiritual conviction is increasing. They believe in spiritualism, spirituality. The expression they use is spirituality, but they don't have religion. So that's a good sign. What's going on in the name of religion, people are becoming fed up. But they are becoming open to understand spirituality. Of course, there is a need for proper information. When I spoke to many of them about spirituality, I noticed many of them identify mind to be spiritual. they don't have proper information about the soul. They think that at the most they think mind is the soul. Now how many of you know the difference between the mind and the soul? Okay, how many of you want to know the difference between the mind and the soul? Only few hands went up. You don't want to listen. I'm sure you're going to stay awake when I speak. Mind is matter. Just as earth is matter, water is matter, fire is matter, right? There are 5 gross matter. What are those 5 gross matter? Earth, water, fire, air, ether. But beyond these 5 gross matter, there are 3 subtle matter. Those subtle matters are? Very good. I have a real learned audience. Very good. So you know that. Mind, intelligence and false ego is matter, subtle matter. Similarly, just as we have a body, this body is made of what? This body, 5 gross elements. And similarly, we have another body made of 3 subtle elements. Proof. Proof is, when you fall asleep, the gross body becomes unconscious, isn't it? But we dream. In dream, are we present? We have our identity, we have a body. When you are dreaming, do you have a body?
Yes.
That is the subtle body. So we have 2 gross bodies. And beyond that is the spirit soul, the soul. The soul is the source of consciousness. The consciousness flows to its material direction through the medium of mind. You know, all these informations are there in the Vedic scriptures. I'm not concocting something. Whatever I'm presenting here is simply sourced out of the Vedas, which very mercifully our spiritual master has given that wisdom, that knowledge. So, now it's a matter of information. I mean, if I did not come across Srila Prabhupada, if I was not exposed to his teachings, I also wouldn't have had this knowledge. So any knowledge is based on its information, the source, isn't it? Information, when we have the information, we know. We are in knowledge. When you don't have the information, you do not know. Right? Now the information must be sourced from something. Like for example, say, how many of you are doctors here? Okay, just one. How many of you are engineers here? Okay, number is more. So, engineering subject, how did you learn? Did you learn by yourself? By your imagination? Or did you learn the subject from the books which have been explained to you by a teacher? Right? That is the way to receive knowledge. So if we want to know about the spiritual topic, spiritual reality, spiritual science, how should we get to know about it? Right. Through the proper source, directed or guided by a qualified teacher. If we have the opportunity to be educated by a qualified teacher on the basis of appropriate books, then we have the knowledge. So, in today's world, if people are interested about the spiritual topic, what they should do? they have to follow the process. Say for example, Aditya Gadadhar Prabhu, when you wanted to become a doctor, what did you do? You went to a medical school. Those of you who are engineers, when you wanted to learn that subject, what did you do? You went to an engineering college. How many of you know English here? How did you learn the language? On your own? Is there anyone who learned the language on his own? You're a genius. Everybody had to learn even the alphabets. A, B, C, D. How did you learn? Your mother said this is A, this is B, this is C. And you learned. Even the alphabets we had to learn from a teacher. Even the numbers, 1, 2, 3, 4, we had to learn from a teacher. What to speak about the topic which is beyond our sense perception. The spiritual reality is beyond our sense perception. Now, if we want to know about that reality, what do we have to do? We have to approach the proper institution. And with all sincerity and conviction, I can say that ISKCON is the institution where you can have the knowledge. At least this is the institution that is there. If anybody wants to have this knowledge, can have it, just by coming here. We have books and we have teachers. But still people are not coming. That's why we are going out of our way to impart the knowledge, to give this knowledge out. How many of you are practicing Bhakti Vriksha, participating in Bhakti Vrikshas? How many of you are participating in some activities in the temple? How many of you somehow or other became connected to ISKCON? And by coming in contact with ISKCON, did you learn something?
Yes.
What did you learn? Well, at least one thing you learned for sure. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Okay, let's go into that. What is this? Why do we chant these words? And why do we ask everybody to chant these words? Why are you chanting? Okay, all of you are silent.
To associate with God.
Okay, very good. Just to establish a connection with God. Okay, should I give some scientific understanding?
Yes.
Okay. Sound. You know, sound, there are 3 types of sound. One is meaningless sound. Sound, does it have any meaning? Right? Does it have any meaning? Blah, blah, blah. Does it have any meaning?
No.
But microphone, you see the difference? Table, napkin, right? You, human beings, floor, wall, building. So these are all meaningful sounds. Meaningful sounds means they are revealing certain objects or ideas of this world. That is the meaningful sound. Then there is another kind of sound, a third kind of sound. The sound that comes from the spiritual world. Very good. Jeff is really wise. Transcendental sound. Transcendental means? What is the meaning of the word transcendental? Very good. Above, beyond. Transcend. Going beyond this world. When you go beyond this world, there is another reality. And that is the transcendental reality, meaning the reality beyond this reality. Now the sound from that world is the third form of sound. Sound that is revealing the objects of that reality and the activities of that reality and so forth is the transcendental sound. And that transcendental sound is called mantra. Right? So you understand now, mantra, what is mantra? Mantras are not some sound of this world. Mantras are actually sound from that world, and they are revealing certain individuals, certain identities, certain activities, certain nature of that reality. So that is what mantra is. And these mantras are actually meant to take us there. Mantras are the means by which we can enter into that world. So that is the purpose of the mantra. That's why we chant the mantra. That's why we meditate upon the mantra. Mantras are meant to be meditated. Meditating on the mantras, mantra actually takes us into that world when we achieve the perfection. And there are innumerable mantras, but out of all those mantras, there is one mantra which is very special. That is called Maha. Maha means the greatest of all the mantras. And that mantra has come down to this world by the mercy of Sri Chaitanya. And that mantra actually takes us to the topmost region of the spiritual world, Golok Vrindavan. So now we got it, 3 types of sound,
Yes.
right? Meaningless sound, meaningful sound, and transcendental sound vibration. So the transcendental sound vibration reveals the spiritual reality to us and takes us to the spiritual world. That is why we chant. And that's why we ask everyone to chant. And by chanting this mantra, one actually becomes elevated to the spiritual world. How it happens, you can't make out. Just like, for example, when you have some disease and you take some medicine, do you understand how the medicine is working? But the medicine works and you become cured. Similarly, just by chanting this mantra, we become qualified. What is the benefit of chanting the mantra? Especially this Maha Mantra. Chetodarpana Marjana. Our heart becomes purified. The heart is full of dirt. There are so many types of dirts in the heart. They fall in 6 different categories. Right? They're lust. Lust is a kind of contamination of the heart. Greed, we may think, oh, it's not normal. But it's contamination of the heart. Anger, illusion, pride, envy. These are the 6 contaminations of the heart. And what do? They cover the heart. And as a result of that, the heart becomes unable to perceive its real nature and its real purpose. The heart, the individual fails to see the Lord who is situated in the heart. But when the heart becomes purified, then yes, we see the presence of the Lord. We see the loving relationship that we have with Him. So that is what the mantra does. By chanting the mantra, Chetodarpana Marjana, the mirror of our mind, our heart becomes pure. Bhavamaha Davagni Nirvapana. Our suffering condition becomes mitigated. No more suffering. chanting the mantra, we become free from our suffering condition. So this is how, by chanting the mantra, we gradually elevate to the spiritual life. So, I'll just go back to the main point. What ISKCON is meant for? ISKCON is actually an educational institution which is imparting spiritual wisdom. So if anyone is interested in spiritual wisdom, please come to ISKCON, associate with the devotees. Don't consider this to be a club. Come every Sunday, have the feast and go back home and do your things. No. The purpose must be serious. The purpose of coming or becoming involved in ISKCON is to develop spiritual understanding and make spiritual progress. I'm sure you all are very keen on making spiritual progress. Please take full advantage of that. Srila Prabhupada so mercifully created this opportunity for us. One man actually created this most important university of education, institution for education all over the world. All over the world this institution is there. And this wisdom is available wherever you go. You'll find ISKCON. I for myself can say I was in total ignorance. I didn't know, although I had some spiritual inclination, but I didn't know what to go, what to do. And eventually I came across Srila Prabhupada's teachings. And yes, today I can say that I feel that my life, my existence has found some purpose. That I got involved in this activity of cultivating and practicing the spiritual process and going out of trying my best to impart this knowledge to others. And same is the case with those who have committed themselves to this movement. Here's Balabhadra Prabhu. For how many years we've been involved, Balabhadra Prabhu? 45 years. How many of you know Balabhadra Prabhu? Now why did he commit himself for the last 45 years into this institution and its activities? Because he found something that is more important than anything else. That's why he didn't give a damn about it, all those activities. He just committed himself. Sikhimaiti Prabhu, how many years you are involved?
44.
Wow, close to him. And Sikhimaiti Prabhu was telling us yesterday, you did masters in maths? You did your masters in mathematics?
No, I did a bachelor's.
Okay. So he could have had a very bright future, made a lot of money. He didn't do that, but he committed himself in this movement. Why? Because he found the purpose behind it. Vedasara came to this movement when he was 5 years old. And still now he is here involved. Right? How many years back was that, Vedasara?
35 years.
About 35 years ago. He's a young boy. I remember him as a young lad in Mayapur in the group. So this is what you have to consider, why these individuals have committed themselves fully into this. That also reminds me, as I was speaking to Adhika Datta. He is a medical surgeon, he is a surgeon, medical surgeon. He had a very nice job in New York. As you know, as a surgeon, you earn a lot of money. But he decided to give up his career as a surgeon, but decided to become a general practitioner. Why? Because so that he can have more time to practice Krishna consciousness. As a surgeon, he could chant his 16 rounds. And now, not only he chants 16 rounds, he worships 48 Shalakam. It's very impressive actually. And he during the Purushottam months, he is chanting 8 ashtakams, prayers to the Lord every day along with his family. Why is this commitment? Do we find this kind of commitment anywhere else? No. Vaikuntha Prabhu, how many years? You were at home?
Started to go to the temple in 71, and I was only 14, so.
70? Wow. So that means 47 years.
Well, I was just attending regularly.
Yeah, that's all right. But the thing is that you're committed to consciousness in such a way. So these are the things that we have to really consider. What made them commit themselves in such a way? Because they found something. So this is the benefit. By getting involved in spiritual activities, you may apparently make some sacrifice in this world, but you gain spiritual, which remains with you as your eternal assets. What did I actually try to mean? What did I try to say? Okay, whatever you do in this material platform, at the time of death, will you be able to carry anything with you?
Yes.
Yes.
I mean, not material, but you carry a karma.
I was coming to that. Whereas, as Mataji said, what's your name?
Premanjali.
Oh, wonderful. Premanjali, what a beautiful name. Premanjali, who has not only her hand full, but heart full of love. So, this is how, but whatever we do on the spiritual platform remains with us. Because the material activities are pertaining to the body. Therefore, when the body is gone, all our material things are gone. But the spiritual activities are related to the soul. And since the soul is immortal, the soul is eternal, all those assets of the soul remains with the soul. So whatever spiritual advancement you are making in this life will be with you in your next life, and life after, and life after. It will continue until you go back to the spiritual. So that is why it is so important to be involved in the spiritual activities. So, and now to go back to the point that Vedasara Prabhu announced, that we are trying to promote cow protection, the culture of cow protection. How many of you think that it's a good idea? Thank you. Now, in order to make some arrangements for you all to facilitate and get involved in that, we have decided to form a club called Cow Lovers Club. How many of you love cows? Wonderful. So, how many of you appreciate this idea of this club and membership in this club? So, how many of you want to become members of this club? Less hands went up. Why is that? Like cow lovers. How many of you are cow lovers? How many of you want to become the members? Keep your hands up. Okay. And the membership actually entails certain activity, certain commitment, certain involvement. If you don't want to get involved in that, you can engage your children to that activity. You know what is the activity? You teach your children to save $2 a day for the cow. Is $2 for your child a lot of money? For the child it's a lot of money. But for you, it's not even the coins in your pocket. Nowadays you don't even carry coins. So that is the membership, and every member every month will get a box called Bhakti box. And this Bhakti box will have first a book by Srila Prabhupada. This book will go to you so for you to read. And at the end of the month we'll ask questions based on the book. Right? Then, how many of you observe Ekadasi? Very good. How many of you find it's a challenge to organize the Ekadasi feast? Okay, so we'll make your life easier a little bit by supplying various things that can be used for your 2 Ekadasis every month. A packet of quinoa. Well, yes. Yes, there is barfi, but they forgot to bring that. Open this one. Who took that barfi from this one? Okay, thanks Balabhadra Prabhu for reminding. So you will get a packet of sweets. Different months will have different sweets. Mind you, every month you'll get a box like this. Okay, while barfi is coming, then next is, oh, I have it actually. I'm sorry, I didn't see that. Sweets. Okay. Wow. These are cashew barfi. A packet of cashew barfi. Why cashew? Because the box may take some time to reach. But these barfis will last. Okay. Ekadasi flour. Like you like to take puri, you like to take chapati, you like to take pizza. So you can cook all that with this flour. But mind you, it's Ekadasi, there's no grain. Then tapioca, sabudana. Then jaggery. What do you call this? Gourd, yeah. So, real sugar, unrefined sugar, and I tell you it's really good. And then a bottle of ahimsa ghee. That means this ghee is produced from the cows who will never be sent to the slaughterhouse. A packet of incense. This I selected myself. Like I made a research, went through various incense, and I found this to be the best. Therefore, we branded this incense as Avanti Flora. That's our brand name. Okay, I'll pass it around. You can at least smell the incense and see. No, 60. Okay, how many of you worship your deities at home? Isn't it a hassle to make those wicks, right? So see, we are making our life as easy as possible. There are 150 instances, 150 weeks, 5 weeks a day, 30 days a month, 150. So this is a box that will be sent to you. How many of you like that? And gradually we will make other products also. We will make cow products like let's say for example shampoo, soap, shaving cream, etc. From cow products. So mind you one thing, I'm sure you all are aware of it. Cow dung is considered to be so pure that it purifies even a temple. Even a temple room is purified by smearing cow dung or giving cow dung, sprinkle cow dung. Why? Chemically, biologically, it has been proven that cow dung is the most wonderful and has most wonderful antiseptic qualities. What to speak of spiritual qualities, it has also profound material qualities. So this is why the cow products are so important. You know that cow urine is being recognized as one of the most powerful medicine. It practically treats it. So this is how important cow culture is, cow protection is. So please support this cause by being member and Vedasara Prabhu assured me that he will continue because I'm here only for 2 days, tomorrow I'm leaving. Our minister for cow, the minister, Kalakanti Prabhu is here, but he actually went. So thank you all very much. All glories to Srila Prabhupada.
Krishna Gopal Jaya Dina Dayal Krishna Gopal Jaya Dina Dayal Krishna Gopal Krishna Gopal Prabhupada, Jaya Jaya Prabhupada, Jaya Prabhupada. Prabhupada, Jaya Prabhupada, Jaya Prabhupada,